Hi guys, so here we are. This assignment is the triad trauma therapies presentation, and it is due week 5 on Sunday. So this is worth 20% of your final grade. And it kind of builds up on the previous assignment of lit review, but is a little bit different. So I wanted to go over it. So we've been at it, this assignment, we've been preparing for this since week 1 when you signed up for a type of trauma, and based on this I have assigned you to groups that are interested in a similar type of trauma. Now either you will be in groups of 2 or 3 depending on the number of students in the group, in the class, and you will work together to prepare a presentation focusing on different types of therapeutic approaches or interventions that can now be used for the trauma that you have chosen. Okay, so the presentation itself is due on Sunday of week 5. You'll send it to me, and one person from your group will upload the presentation to a discussion forum in week 7. This is the last week. So what is your individual responsibility? Essentially, you have to come up with either 1 or maximum 2 therapeutic interventions. So if you're working in a group of 3 and you will read a total of 6 different articles, so each one of you will read at least 2 articles, and you may come up with either 3 to 6 different therapies that could be used to treat the trauma topic chosen. If you're working in a group of 2, you'll read 4 different articles and come up with 2 to 4 different therapies. All the articles have to be published within the last 10 years, at least 10 pages long, and should come from a scholarly or peer-reviewed journal. So as a group, you can use PowerPoint or whatever else you're comfortable with, but make sure that everyone can open it and read it. So if I am not able to open some of your presentations, I will let you know, but PowerPoint, I think everybody typically is able to read it. So the first slide is going to be an introduction to the overall presentation. Basically, what's your type of trauma? What are you trying to tackle? What interventions are you using? The second slide, the next 2 slides or 3 slides are going to be from each student's week 3 lit review assignment. So if your overall trauma is domestic violence, and one of you has chosen to work with children impacted by the trauma, one of you has chosen to work with women impacted by trauma, and one of you has chosen to work with men impacted by the trauma, then each one of you will present at least 1 slide of your literature review. Okay, then a summary of the articles read about each of the therapies that relates to the type of trauma and could be treated with these approaches. So you will have 2 to 3 slides per article. So you might, again, if you have chosen to work with children of domestic trauma, you may have chosen play therapy as one of your interventions. So you would have 2 to 3 slides about play therapy as your intervention and how this is going to help. A description of the potential impact of each intervention on a person physically, emotionally, psychologically, and socially. So this is 1 slide per intervention. Okay, so you will talk about play therapy, your partners may talk about narrative therapy or trauma-focused CBT, okay, and they will talk about how this intervention impacts a person physically, emotionally, psychologically, and socially. Now, I understand that in order to do this, you have to mention the population, but you don't have to go too much into detail about the population. You can just talk about play therapy in general. For example, play therapy is soothing. It allows you to enact something without reliving it. So it is very general description of what the technique does to whoever is practicing it. You don't really have to mention the population. A discussion of how each intervention can be beneficial on the micro, meso, and macro levels. So if you are talking about an intervention like, I know if anyone has heard of equine therapy or horse therapy, okay, where trauma victims spend time with horses and are able to regulate their emotions and are able to develop trust, which has been taken away. So how would that benefit them personally? How would that benefit their interpersonal skills? And how would society at large benefit from this intervention? Then you have to come up with links to video clips which shows how play therapy is conducted or how equine therapy is conducted, or whatever therapy that you've chosen. How is it conducted? So people reading your slides can get a complete understanding of the intervention. And then a description of what has changed in your current practice or what may influence social work practice in the future. This is one slide per student. So even if you don't have current clients, you can project into the future and say, I'm going into practice with this information or knowledge that I have gained. All right, so these are the guidelines, and here are the points. Maximum points, the 3 points are awarded to the forms of therapeutic intervention and how they were summarized, and the writing was clear, concise, well organized. Okay, so these are 3 points each. Everything else is up to 2 points. So introduction to an overview of PowerPoint, summaries of lit review, main points of the 3 to 6 or 2 to 4 forms of intervention, and material presented on the therapeutic intervention was concisely summarized. Not too many words on each slide. Describe how each intervention impacts a person and how each intervention can be beneficial. Working video links were provided. Sometimes these do not work. So when you have posted them, my suggestion would be just to go in there and click on them to see, just to make sure that they work. And implication to each student's practice of this type of trauma in social work were explained. So this is the grading rubric. That's what I have for this assignment, and if you have any questions about this, please let me know. Thank you.